Hi, my name is Jenna Jacobs, and for my cultural immersion project, I went to a Tibetan Buddhist center in Wesley Chapel. I attended two events at the Drong Nyor Chubling Buddhist Center in Wesley Chapel. Probably butchered that like every time, but I tried my best. From now on, I'm just going to say center. One was a Sunday teaching, and the other was part of the Tibetan New Year celebration called Losar. The majority of Tibetans in America came here as refugees seeking asylum. The Chinese occupation of Tibet has been going on for over 70 years. Many of them have been displaced twice, exile in India and surrounding countries, and then asylum in America. Family members then came and joined those who escaped. The resident monk at the center spent 2 months traversing the Himalayan mountains to escape to India so he could join a monastery. Tibetan Buddhism is the main religion of Tibet and is part of the reason for the Chinese occupation. Tibetans are being forced to denounce the Dalai Lama or face punishment, sometimes death. Part of the struggles Tibetan Americans face is in trying to preserve their culture surrounding Buddhism. Another barrier is language. Many Tibetans are trying to preserve the Tibetan language by using a translator, but a lot of things in America do not conform to this idea. Many Tibetans face economic insecurity due to low-wage jobs and lack of higher education that stem from immigrant status and language barriers. There are an estimated 26,000 Tibetans living in America. They are one of the smallest parts of the Asian American population, representing less than 2%. They suffer from invisibility because they are lumped in with all Asians and do not have a strong representation in America. When I arrived my first time, my culture guide was waiting outside for me. She walked me around and explained some cultural differences. Shoes are never worn inside. The bottoms of your feet are never to be facing a lama or a spiritual person. The lama monk is a religious leader who has gained significant enlightenment through study in their past lives. You do not hug or touch them. Translators are common because there are a lot of concepts with no direct translations into English. They don't have words for self-defeating behaviors because they do not exist the way they do in America or in the English language. Everything circles back to the mind and the Dharma. The Sunday teaching I went to was on karma, cause, and effect. Karma in Buddhism is not what we in America believe it to be. Karma is our actions. Karmic fruit is the consequence of those actions. There are virtuous and non-virtuous actions, and they don't use the terms good or bad because the things that cause samsara or suffering are lessons to put us back on the path to enlightenment. One Tibetan saying that goes with karma is, you cannot expect to get gold from a rice seed, meaning you can't expect to have non-virtuous deeds and then get virtue and positivity and joy put back into your life. Another saying that the Drupal elaborated on many times was, you need glasses to look outside, but what you need is a mirror. This means we cause our own suffering by looking at other people or objects as the key to our happiness or suffering. And the key lies within the mind. Is the Tibetan New Year. It is a time of celebration, giving thanks and prayer, and setting the intention for the year. There's a shrine that is set up with Buddhas on it, and all the food that everyone else gets, about 10 times that much, is put in offering to the Buddha. This is a picture of the two lamas who led the service. The one on the right is visiting from Asia. He brought food and drink native to Tibet for the celebration. Roma, which is in the sweet rice pictured, is a root vegetable about the size of a thumbnail. It only grows in Tibet in the wild. He also brought yak butter for butter lamps and butter tea. Yaks are a major staple in Tibetan diets. During the prayers and chanting, dressel, the sweet rice, along with other things like nuts, seeds, dried fruits, and Tibetan pastries, were handed out along with butter tea. After all the food was passed out to every person, everyone was asked to give something back, which could be an offering to the wild animals living in the woods behind the center. This act of kindness incorporates everything I experienced at the center on my 2 visits. Everything was shared with everyone. Kindness and compassion were evident in the smiles on people's faces. The chanting, the music, the prayers were all done as a group, collective. Every walk of life is welcome in their community. There were many different Asian subgroups represented. While I talked with a few people, I asked one woman if she could say one thing to people who use stereotypes, what would it be? She said there are 48 countries in Asia, each with their own values and culture. Having an Asian appearance does not mean we are the same. Getting out of my comfort zone and going to the Buddhist center is one of the most beautiful and profound spiritual experiences I have ever had. The chanting and the musical instruments was amazing. I've been humbled by this experience, and my reverence for Tibetans has grown immensely. They are resilient and so full of life and joy. It was definitely contagious. And this is the end of my presentation.